Obviously, because I own them and I want to read every single book that I own. This is Renegades. Oh, okay. Hello everyone and welcome to another video. I've been doing a lot of mood reading and I'm having the time of my life, and I kind of want to keep myself into like kind of mood reading but making it a little bit more challenging. So I made a spin the wheel. I went on Fabel, and that app tells you like which kind of, how do you call it, which genre of books you have, and you can like choose like if you want to read romance, and then you see like a list of the romance books that you have on your physical TBR. So I made a list with the genres that I have, which is cozy fantasy, historical fiction, horror, literary fiction, mystery, romance, sci-fi, thrillers, and young adults. And this wheel is gonna choose which genre I'm going to read, and then I'm gonna choose myself which book I would really like to read from that genre. Let's just see which genre we're gonna do. I'm gonna, by the way, spin this wheel 3 times. I don't think I'm gonna delete a genre. So it could be that we're stuck with like 3 fantasies or something. That would be amazing for me. But let's start. Horror. I don't have a lot of horror books, I believe, but I did have a few, because obviously like I do own some Stephen King books. Not that I want to read a Stephen King though, but you know. Ooh, actually I do have a few. I have House of Hollow, Bunny, House of Salt and Sorrows, and One Dark Window. Ooh. Sorry, it also says like a little like story about, or like it tells like the back of the book. And I was reading House of Salt and Sorrows, and it says, get swept away by this haunting novel about 12 beautiful sisters living on an isolated island estate who begin to mysteriously die one by one. That sounds good to me. And House of Hollow is about 3 sisters who some weird shit happened to them. Bunny is obviously like that weird fever dream that everyone talks about, and I still have not read it. One Dark Window I tried to read kind of a few weeks back, I think, and I just couldn't get through it, but like it also had to do with like the weather. It's like such a dark gothic thing to read. Like it just didn't fit with like the weather that it is now, or that it was back then, and now it is really nice weather again. So I think I'm kind of thinking, I think I'm just gonna do this one, because when I was reading that little part on Fable, I'm just really curious, and I already own this for like very long. I think that I bought this book like in the beginning of my reading journey, when I was forced to stay at home because of my mental health and physical health. That's when I got really into reading and like reading lots of fantasies and stuff, and I believe I bought this one around that time too. So it's been here a while, and every time I read the back I'm like, I'm super curious, like what's going on, and like everyone dying one by one. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do this one. Ooh, this is fun. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna delete this one because I have more books from horror, obviously, like Bunny and House of Hollow. So I'm just gonna keep it like this. So we close it and then spin it again. This is fun. I like it. Sci-fi. Okay. Sci-fi. Ooh, I do have a few sci-fi books, I know that. Ooh, the newest book that I bought is also a sci-fi. It's also a thriller, I see. Okay. Red Rising is obviously a sci-fi. The Testaments from Margaret Atwood is also a sci-fi. Oh, I have so many sci-fis. Renegades. I've been really wanting to read Renegades too. Aurora Rising. I've been wanting to read that one too. Obviously, because I own them and I want to read every single book that I own. This was on my TBR last month, and I am very curious about this one. Just haven't picked it up yet because I'm also like super scared, because The Handmaid's Tale is like, it's really a world that you really don't want to happen. Okay, then, okay, well this is obviously like a really newer one. We have Renegades, which has been on my TBR for a very long time. This is Renegades. Oh, okay. Well, I was holding that very weirdly if you saw that. Okay, well, we have this one. As long as they're superheroes, there will be people who rely on them far too much. I think humanity would be better off if there were no prodigies at all. Nova is an anarchist. A girl on a mission for vengeance after the hero sworn to protect her family failed her. Adrian is a renegade, a boy with extraordinary abilities who believe in justice and in Nova. They should be sworn enemies, but Nova finds herself torn between Adrian and renegades and a villain that could destroy them both. It does sound so good, but like I'm also so, like I really feel like I shouldn't let my fear hold me back from reading this one, because I do want to read the series. I think I'm gonna do the Testaments. We're gonna do the Testaments. I'm so not sure, because I really want to read this one too, but Testaments. Maybe I can make a video of like reading only sci-fi. That would be fun. Last book. It's these are quite thick books, so I think this is gonna take me a while, actually. Okay, last one. Mystery! Okay. Definitely 3 different genres. Ooh, yeah. I kind of already know what I want to do for that. I've been really wanting to read that, but I've also been kind of waiting for it to be in a video because everyone has been reading it, and I want to see what my opinions and thoughts are. I even put like a bookmark in it. Wild Dark Shore. Yeah. I am so curious about this one. Like, I've seen everyone read it, and it is a mystery, so yeah, this is about some kind of woman is washed ashore, and some weird stuff happens on that little island. I'm very curious. I don't know much about it. I just have seen a lot of people reading it and being like super excited about it. We're gonna read Wild Dark Shore, The Testaments, and A House of Salt and Sorrows. So we have a mystery, a sci-fi, what was it, horror? I don't even remember. Anyway, these are going to be the 3 books that I'm going to be reading this week, or well, I don't know if it's going to be this week because they're quite thick. So I may take like 2 weeks or something for this to finish, but I'm gonna start in this one. I'm not reading a book right now. I haven't been reading for like the last 3 days, and I miss it. I really do. I will see you guys once I have an update about this gorgeous book. I just wanted to give you guys a little update about A House of Salt and Sorrows. I'm not enjoying it. Okay, I chose this one because, well, the 12 Dancing Princesses, like that Barbie movie, top tier. I love that. What I also chose it from is that there's 12 princesses, and a few of them have already died, and in the start of this book another one has passed away, and this one fell off a cliff. And it kind of sat on like the premise that it was going to be like, she thinks that her sister is murdered, and all of these islanders think that there's a curse on these 12 princesses on this house. But so far I'm 40% in the book. It's just been about balls and you know, the 12 Dancing Princesses, obviously that's a fairy tale, and in that story I believe they find like a room or a space where they can just dance all night long and stuff like that. All fun, but I kind of just picked it up because I was interested about the murder mystery side of it, and I'm not getting it. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to read 40 more pages, and if I'm still not getting what I want, which is more of the murder mystery and less of the balls, then I think I'm going to DNF it. Well, I'm gonna go downstairs, I'm gonna make a cup of coffee, and I'm going to read a little bit more, at least 40 pages, and see what's gonna happen. I'm editing this video right now and I see that I have never posted, I don't even have a clip of when I finished this book, so so here's me. I'm going to explain what I actually thought of it, because the last clip I was talking about that I was really thinking about DNFing it because it just, there wasn't a lot going on. It's supposed to be horror. Was it horror? I don't know. I didn't find it creepy. There was like a little murder mystery part of it because we're following Annalee, and one of her sisters died. She's convinced pretty much that her sister got murdered and she wants to know why and how. So she's trying to figure out like why was she on the cliff? What was she doing there? Yeah, just stuff like that. She's like asking the people around that found her body if there was anything weird about it, anything suspicious, and that part was really interesting. But in the meantime, because we're obviously reading about the 12 dancing princesses, we're also having these balls, and you know, a ball, it can never go wrong, right? In a book, like, balls are fun, but there were so many balls that I was bored. And they were also beautiful and amazing, and everybody had dance partners, which they don't really have in real life, because whenever there's a ball, they're or not invited, or their dad makes a ball and nobody wants to dance with them because they think that family has a curse upon them, because so many of the princesses die. And I was just waiting until something scary was going to happen, until I felt creeped out. And there were like tiny moments, tiny snippets in the first 200 pages that I was like, ooh, okay, we're getting somewhere. Oh, she's finding things out. Or she suddenly saw her sister's like ghost form in like the way that they died. That was kind of eerie, but it wasn't much, so I had to like struggle through the 200 pages until we finally got to the point of like really figuring out what was going on. And then once we start to know what's going on, which I obviously can't say, but those were really good plot twists. Like, I did not see any of it coming. First 200 pages I would literally give it like 2 stars. But then we got up to 3.5 because the ending, the plot twists, insane, so creepy. But I do have to say, with the writing style, I didn't really feel immersed. Like, I wasn't really in that world, but I could still feel the creepiness of it. So I still really enjoyed the book in the end. It could have been creepier. I liked the concept of this book, definitely. It was fine. It was good. I mean, the plot twists were amazing. I couldn't give it any higher than that because I was just so bored in the beginning that I couldn't care. Now we're gonna go to the next book that I'm reading. I completely forgot to give an update about this book. I'm 71% in. So I'm kind of hoping that I could finish it hopefully today. That would be nice. Yeah, it was a little bit confusing in the beginning because I was like, who am I reading from? But I figured it out at some point. I find this book almost more interesting than The Handmaid's Tale itself. because you kind of see like 3 different kind of perspectives. First of all, those 3, like the differences in, you know, the circumstances that they live in are so interesting to read about. And I just love, you kind of see Gilead like rot from the inside, right? That's pretty much what this book is about, that it's falling apart. And it's really fun to read. It's really fun to read about a place falling apart. But you see like how the beginning started, you know, like how the founders started Gilead, and then in the next chapter you see how it's like kind of like slowly falling apart. And I don't know why, but I love it. Well, first of all, I think I love it because obviously this is a world that nobody should live in. Like, all of these females being like, you know, they're not allowed to read, they're not allowed to really think, which is insane. And these kids are groomed pretty much to become amazing wives and or aunts or handmaids. Like, you have no idea which kid is going to be a wife, which kid is going to be an aunt, which one is going to be a handmaid. And these kids talk so badly about the handmaids, and I just think that it's so insane. Like, and I just love that the person that we're reading from in Gilead is also a bit like, it's kind of weird, but like, I'm just gonna go along with it. She's kind of like that, but then at some point something happened. She's like, okay, no, I don't want to live like this. So she, you know, decides to take a little bit of the matters in her own hands. And that's super interesting to read. Like, I can't say much because I feel like everything that I would say is gonna be a spoiler. You know, but let's just say you really see it rot from the inside, and that is super entertaining. However, I do feel like the way that it's been written, it's like there's not like a lot of action going on or anything like that. Like, it feels kind of like I'm reading like somebody's diary, I guess. However, I am always at a 70%, so maybe like in the last 30 things are really gonna happen that I'm like, ooh, I can't stop. But I'm entertained, that's for sure. Like, I'm really liking this one. I have just finished The Testament. Insane, pretty much. Honestly, the last 30%, because I gave an update at the 70%, right, this morning. Honestly, the last 30% things, I feel like this book was never fast-paced, but definitely the interest became more interesting, because you really see it slowly, like step for step throughout the entire book. You see how things are just kind of falling apart because of a certain someone, and that was really interesting. Like, I almost kind of enjoyed it more than if it would have been fast-paced. It was just so interesting how slowly it actually went, but how still entertaining that was. And yeah, the ending, I do have to say, from like the last chapter, I was like, why are we, look, I get that it's now a part of history for the people that are in this book, but why are we repeating the entire story in like 5 pages? Like, why am I getting like a summary? I know what happened. I'm happy that I finished this one, and now I can take off my makeup. We're going to start Wild Dark Shore, which is a little bit thinner, right? Like 300 pages exactly. This took me a while, but also like the pacing of it was quite slow. So, and this was, why am I doing like I haven't read it? This was 415 pages, and today I literally read like the last 30%, which was quite a lot. I feel kind of tired, like my eyes feel a little bit tired, so I'm gonna take a little break from reading, take up my makeup. That will be all for me. I will see you once I've started in this book and have something to say about it. I have just finished Wild Dark Shore. I have not been able to give a halfway through update because suddenly I'm kinda don't have enough time anymore to read because I need to upload this tomorrow. Yeah, so I was halfway through the book last night, so I finished it. I'm sorry for not having an halfway update. I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed the book, obviously, but it was not what I really expected from the book. Like, I kind of wanted a psychological thriller, and yes, there's definitely like some mystery on this island. People are missing. This woman suddenly comes and it's like there's just a man and his kids on this island, and apart from that there's literally no one when they're supposed to be researchers. Well, I can't really say much, but the woman Rowan, who's washed up on shore, is unraveling some secrets that the island and the people that are still on the island have. And I can't say much because honestly that would kind of give most of the book away. But I do have to say, even though I wasn't really like the murder mystery aspect, I was just like, why is this woman being so dumb? Why is she believing everything that this man tells her, even though things just don't add up as much? And then every time we got through a point that I was like, oh, she's gonna figure something out again, or like she just figured something out, and then normally what I would think is that the brain keeps going and it's like, but this doesn't add up, or but what really happened then? Like, can I trust this man? And she just was like, she figured something out and then she was just going along with everything again. Like, she was just being distracted by this beautiful island, this nature and these kids and that man. Yeah, her thoughts were somewhere else and not really with the whole reason sometimes why she was there. I feel like in the beginning there was more mystery to it, and then halfway through the book you read so much about this beautiful island and you really have like this, or I at least had this whole idea of how the island looked, and it just felt so beautiful, and the way these kids talk about the nature. And in the meantime you also get flashbacks of things that happened on the island, or the things that happened to Rowan, the woman herself, what made her to be who she is now. I really enjoyed that. I really did. Like, it was such an interesting way of looking at the people that were still left on the island, but also like learning things about the island itself. It was so beautiful. I don't know, you just see like the nature taking over the island at some point, and it's just beautiful. Which is why I gave 4 stars, and I can't say much about it because honestly everything I'm thinking of, like, can I say that? And I'm just like, yeah, no, I can't. I really can't, because that will give away so much of the story. So if you want to read this, just know, yes, there is a mystery. There is like this whole figuring out why everyone has fled and why these people, this small family, is still there. But it's also a lot about nature, and if you're not really like a nature fan, or you don't really care about trees, I mean, there aren't even trees on that island. It's mainly just plants, flowers, about the sea, about the animals that live there, the birds. That if you like to read about that, I definitely think that you could also enjoy this one. I just bought it because mainly I wanted the murder mystery, which I think is why I didn't give it 5 stars. But I can definitely see why some people would give it 5 stars, because the writing is beautiful. The way she speaks about nature is beautiful. The way she speaks about the things that these people have been through or seen, it's beautiful. There are definitely some really pretty quotes on this too. But it's also, if you think about it, it's also a very devastating story, because it's devastating in the way that these people have survived the island pretty much, but it's also devastating on how you see the things about nature. That's also very devastating. I feel like the nature stuff was hitting me more than actually the people stuff, which is kind of insane because I'm more of a people, like I find people's stories more interesting than nature, but with this one I was like, the nature side is just, that really hits. Let's do a little recap. I have finished 3 books in the last, what is it, like 2 weeks? I think it's been 2 weeks. The first one I read was House of Salt and Sorrows. I gave this one 3.5 stars. It was a very slow start. It took a while to get through this. It's a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses, and I love that story, but this book is also kind of sold as being eerie, creepy, gothic, and in the first half of the book you don't see much of the eerie gothic. You only see like little snippets of that. It becomes like a little bit like creepy, but I expected more creepiness from the first half, and that only happened in the second half, which is why I did add another half star, because the last 100 pages were definitely like creepy. But I feel like the writing it wasn't haunting. Does anyone know what I mean with that? Like, it wasn't like really creeping me out. I wasn't really scared, and I wanted to be scared. I wanted to be a little bit frightened. But anyway, still a very good read if you do like 12 Dancing Princesses. But I think I would still recommend it. It's a very easy read. Definitely, it's very young adult. So, and there's also like a tiny bit of romance in it, but there was barely any. So if you really are like a romance lover, don't choose this book because there's a little romance in it. It's like you get barely anything pretty much, but still really like the guy though. The guy was good. And then I read The Testaments, which I'm so happy I finally read. This has been like haunting me since I bought it. Yeah, this was great. This was a 4.5 star. I just didn't give it the 5 star because sometimes it literally felt like I was reading a history book. But that's just the way that it was written, and in the beginning I was really confused about who it really is, like who the story really is about, which is kind of the meaning. Like, you kind of just really have to like figure your way through the book and seeing like who's who, what has happened, and you really see Gilead rotting on the inside, and that, chef kiss. Like, that was so good. Yeah, I loved how people changed in this book. I loved how you saw it slowly just changing. Like, it was great. It's something that you can't really say much about this book because, again, this is another one of those books that it kind of has to take you by surprise, I guess, because otherwise it just takes away from the story, if that makes any sense. And then obviously I read Wild Dark Shore, which I've already spoken about so much. Really good, beautifully written, devastating, lots of nature, and a little bit of mystery, I guess. Definitely quite eerie in some moments, and I loved how the book is all about like this stormy weather and stuff. It's just really beautifully written about the animals, about the people. Like, I loved all of the backstories that we got in this book. I think I'm gonna think about this one for a while, but mainly because of the nature and the backstories of people, but not really for the murder mystery, which is why I did chose this one. But sometimes a book is different than the expectations you have of it, and that's also fine. I had a really good reading month. Reading 2 weeks. Yeah, definitely did took me a while because this one was quite slow. This felt a little bit like a history book, but like so entertaining also. Kind of weird, but it works. It really is. And this one, yeah, that was like in 3 days I was like already done. It's only 300 pages, so. Anyway, I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next week.